Okay, so we're going to talk about the sign that I was telling you about, the too late sign. Now, this is too late. And I'm going to tell you the sign, and how do I know it's a truthful sign? Well, whenever a hurricane begins to form and everything begins to start spinning, we notice one thing: animals. Animals is a sign. And the reason they're a sign is because if a tornado was about to form or something bad was about to happen, then the animal wouldn't go in that direction. They would flee from that direction. So how do you know this is true? At the end of time, when it happens, when Father Creator is about to come and all these things are about to happen, because it always states in Revelation that there's going to be hell to pay. And I'm sorry to you, if you don't believe that there's going to be hell to pay, and you believe you're going to be forgiven for what you've done, you're crazy. Because I want to say this, and I'm going to clue you in on this right now. This is a trick, and it's a trick Satan uses. All sins are the same. That's a true statement, but it's also a not true statement. You figure it out. Out of all the times that I gave you these answers with the same thing like that, I want you to figure it out. This one you figure out. That is a true statement. Here we go again. What was the statement? I just forgot. Okay. So, all sin is the same. All sin is the same. That was the statement. Okay. But that is one of the signs. The kids was a sign. What else is a sign? I told you about the red clouds. The reason I want to share this with you is the signs is because Jesus says one thing that's contradictory. If you ever read through the disciples chapter, Jesus is very sarcastic. One of the first things it says if you read Matthew is Jesus knew all men were evil. I mean, that's a clue right there in itself. So simple, so powerful. Do you understand that? If you don't, try to come up with your own ideas until you come to the idea of why it's so powerful. Until you come to the idea of how it can help you find the Creator. See, the way I see anything is that if it doesn't do bad for you, and it can help you get closer to Father Creator without destroying His image, Him, or you, making anything bad, then it's all right to use. Okay, for instance, one person pours water into a cup and drink it. One person pours it into a pitcher. You understand? You probably don't understand that. Because sometimes I say things that are too deep for y'all right now, because I don't believe y'all minds are mentally ready for anything that I have to say, or mentally ready for anything that has to do with the truth. So the only way to get you mentally ready is to do what we say, exercising the brain. How do you exercise the brain? Imagine this. They say that 90% of the time, 90% of your brain is not active and only 10% is active or something like that. I don't know the variable thing, but you know what I'm talking about. So imagine this. One reason that could be possible is because you let people think for you all the time. How do you exercise the mind? Do you know? How do you exercise the eye? Do you know? How do you exercise the nose? Do you know? The mouth, the ears. Do you know? These are six senses. Your six senses are exercised some way. If you want to tone them into a perfect way, then you have to do certain things. So if you're not exercising your mind, if you don't exercise your muscles, what happens? Made sense to you then, huh? See, a lot of things sound like I'm off base until you really start listening, start losing the valve, start losing all the other things and say, this dude sometimes makes sense, though it sounds crazy. Because I'm going to tell you what, if I was back in that time, I seen Jesus come, would I have been Peter or would I have been Judah? Do you understand that? Peter was one who said, I believe. But he never really truly believed. He showed his true colors. Didn't the crow cook 3 times? Judas was a betrayer. He stabbed Jesus in the back for money. Do you understand that? See, I want to explain to you freedom of will. And people, you need to understand this because it's a tool for Satan. See, I'm a slave. You say, you're a slave? Yes, I'm a slave for Father Creator. told him he can use my vessel to do whatever he wants. That guarantees me heaven. My freedom of will chose that for me. Because I know one thing. As long as I'm doing what Father Creator wants me to do, I'm going to heaven. So is it such a bad idea? But if you look on the reverse side, and what I'm saying to you, the reverse side is almost everything has a good and a bad side. 7 deadly sins, for instance, lust, the opposite would be love. Wrath would be, envy would be, pride would be. Do you understand what I'm saying? They have their good and their bads. But if you have two masters, then can I persuade you to go to the other side of it? Maybe I could. Maybe if you had one master and his name was Father Creator and you believed in love, then you could stay on his side. Do you understand that? So, freedom of will is used in a bad way. Because what Satan's trying to say is that everybody is different and this and this and this and this. True, everybody is different, but everybody is the same. You got to understand why. You have to understand why everything is being said and used against you and used for you. If you don't understand why, this is how you should think about it. Why would Satan want to say this? That's the only way you're going to know. Because it says, keep your enemies close. So in order for me to keep my enemy close, I must keep close thoughts to my enemy's mind. Why? Because I need to know. I don't want to think evil, but you got to, because in the word that we are given in at this present time, in order to break free, we have to. And if you read deeper into the Bible, it says, yeah, you thought these things, but in the end, you're going to forget about them, and it'll become nothing, and in a so-called, so much of a sense, you will understand better. I won't give it to you. I will not give you the truth to your face directly. I have gave the truth. I have it on my MySpace page, if you ever go find it. If I have a couple of songs, they're under free gold on MySpace Music and a couple of other things. On MySpace, my MySpace page is under my name. I apologize to y'all for having on a naked shirt because it's not fair. And I'm going to say this because there's double standards in the world, and you saying, what does that got to do with a double standard? Well, you say, and I'm going to go to men, and the men say, I don't want my wife showing her breast and all this other stuff, but that's a breast that you're showing. Men and women are exactly the same. Of course, how do I know this? Because didn't they make a man into a transsexual, or didn't they make him into a whatchamacallit without doing nothing but changing his body parts into another way? So if you know the science of how they did it, then you know together that, hey, men are almost like women. See, the only difference between men and women is that a woman was given the gateway, and the man had the key. And I hate to say that, do not let your little kids hear it no other way, because they won't understand it, but they'll understand it, but they won't understand it. Don't let them hear it no other way. It takes two to get into that thing. And for anybody out there, one of the greatest things you can do, if I promise you, it says this in the Bible, at this time, you do not want to be having sex. You do not want to be making babies, and you do not want to be just having random sex. If you do not know who your soulmate is, I would tell you right now, do not have sex. Because you are born man and woman. See, and that right there, how do I know that's true? Because Jesus says it to his disciples. They say, what about a man that a woman was given to this woman, to this woman, to this woman, to this woman, to this brother, to that brother, to that brother. That one woman was given to like 7 brothers. Isn't that lustful? Isn't that disgusting? If it's disgusting, then it's not right. So the right way to think about it is that woman had that man, and this is what Jesus said. People have a soulmate. He says something about giving. What he's saying is basically a man is born, and at the same time a woman is born for that man. Now he also goes back and say, well, he doesn't say, but it says somewhere in the Bible that because of the way things are, that men and women couldn't be born at the same time. So you're wondering, like, if you got an older person or a younger person together, that maybe could be their soulmate. They wouldn't be out of range, and they wouldn't be out of veracity, and they would. But that's a conversation for another time, soulmates. I will not go on to it, but I just wanted to give you an idea of how to think about this, so therefore you can form the right